Welcome to Arts Connect First State of the Arts in Education. We are excited to have you join us as we shed light, discuss, and envision the continuous impact of arts education for students. An education rich in the arts is essential to unlocking each student's highest potential. We at Arts Connect know that students involved in the arts are excited to come to school. They are also better equipped with the cognitive tools needed to solve problems, try without limits, create new pathways, practice resiliency, collaborate, connect, and learn from one another, and discover that dreams can become a reality. Possibilities are endless when students are given a chance to express themselves and channel their learning through the arts. Yet, providing access to the arts for all students is not a given. Inequitable access to arts education is a complex problem in our city and across the nation. Although the arts are a tangible and proven way to bolster student success regardless of socioeconomic background, when districts and schools face increased accountability in other areas of focus and budget cuts, the arts are one of the first things to go. And once they are gone, and as priorities shift and shift again, it becomes increasingly difficult to bring them back. Our Houston community, however, has come together to tackle this complex problem and work towards a common vision. Arts Connect is Houston's leading collective impact organization with over 70 partners working in unison to ensure all students have access to arts education. Our vital partners include arts and culture organizations, the Houston Independent School District, the Houston Arts Alliance, the City of Houston, funders, state and national partners, and community members. Arts Connect is also a member of the Any Given Child initiative at the Kennedy Center, working alongside 26 other communities in the country to not only drive change in Houston, but also across the nation. As an organization, Arts Connect fills a new space in Houston. Collectively, we work towards creating the right conditions for lasting systems change so that every student, in every school, in every classroom, has access to the arts without regard to family income or where they live. As part of our work, Arts Connect collects data to track and understand students' access to the arts in Houston ISD. We do this in partnership with the HISD Fine Arts Department, the Kennedy Center, and Ingenuity in Chicago, and we use this information to collectively shape strategy and determine how to best allocate resources in our community. Arts Connect also brings people together to learn from one another, align efforts, build capacity, cross-pollinate ideas, and mobilize the community to advocate for the essential role of the arts for every student. Through the Arts Action Fund, Arts Connect facilitates new and expanded partnerships between schools and Houston's many arts and culture organizations so that students get to participate in the diverse arts experiences our city has to offer. To help accelerate and sustain more arts for more students, we also work to unlock new resources for this cause. Our collective work ultimately translates into tangible outcomes. Since our collective work began, 20,000 more students are attending fine arts classes with a certified teacher, and 30,000 more students are participating annually in diverse arts experiences through partnerships. More principals are turning to the arts as a tool to support and advance their campus goals. Structural changes have been made in HISD to ensure the arts have a seat at the decision-making table. There is a more connected arts community, supporting one another, students, and educators. And more Houstonians are valuing and expecting the arts as part of a complete education. Now is the time to invest in what we call the arts opportunity. As we navigate through the current difficulties of a global pandemic and racial reckoning, it has become increasingly clear that there is a great need for our students, and indeed all of us, to process hardships and connect as a community. Let us use our artistic capacities and the great sense of community our city has been known for to bring us further together and nurture the next generation with an education rich in the arts. This is the time to acknowledge that no education is complete without the arts. For the sake of our students and for the future of our great city, let us work together to ensure every single student experiences this arts opportunity. In today's inaugural State of the Arts in Education, we will celebrate successes and address challenges. We are pleased to share the impact of an arts education through the work of countless leaders and partners, and to honor the work of two distinguished members in our community. We are so excited to have you be part of this important work.
My name is Nick, and my favorite thing about art is how can I reflect my feelings.
Hi, my name is Alexis, and why art is important to me because when I grow up I want to be able to teach kids how to draw art, and I do this. Hi, my name is Kaylee Denton, and I love drawing because it's fun to do. Anything that pops up in my head, I just draw.
Hi, my name is Juan Lara.
Hola, mi nombre es María Niño.
And I would like to tell you about my story of how the arts changed my life. I first started here in Whittier in 3rd grade. I started playing in band with Mr. Ward. He helped me learn a lot about music. He introduced it to me. And later I learned about Maryland. I auditioned for it and then got in. I got accepted. I went and applied for mariachi and band. And right now I'm in 8th grade, and all those 3 years I've been in band. And I've been growing a lot in my music. And recently I auditioned for HSPBA and I got accepted. So I plan to keep on my journey in the music.
Yo estoy contenta, feliz y agradecida con el distrito que tiene estos programas, porque en mi familia ha tenido un gran impacto positivo y estoy feliz y gracias porque nos están apoyando de esta manera, que es muy bueno para los niños.
My name is Alberto Rodriguez, and I like music because I get to help my community, and I've been playing for a year and a half.
It's Ava, and I played the snare drum. What inspired me to play the snare drum is that throughout the whole pandemic, I was already moving schools, and after a while I wanted to try something new because I got inspired by my uncles and aunts, and they played, all these instruments in here. And so I wanted to give myself a new start, a new beginning, and now I play the snare drum.
Growing up in Texas, both Brenda Peters Chase and Jack McBride had very different experiences. Yet their belief in the arts as an essential tool for student success brought them to Arts Connect, where they both serve as crucial leaders. Brenda is president of the board, and Jack is chair of the leadership committee.
Hello, Jack. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I'm excited to be talking with you about Arts Connect Houston.
Oh, me too. One of my favorite topics.
Mine too. I wanted to know how did you get involved with Arts Connect? How long have you been involved?
Approximately a year or so. I was first introduced to Arts Connect in conjunction with being a board member of the Houston Arts Alliance. I'd expressed a particular interest in arts education, particularly addressing underserved youth. and that brought me to the current involvement with Arts Connect.
Yeah.
And how about you? How long have you been involved? How did you become involved with Arts Connect?
Oh, for sure. I too am someone who's very interested and passionate about arts education. I am at Writers in the Schools here in Houston, and we as an organization and have been with Arts Connect since the beginning, since they began their collective impact initiatives here in Houston and the HISD. And being part of Arts Connect allows me to really bring with me, or sort of give back to the city, some of my passion about connecting kiddos to writing, to art, and how crucial to success in arts education can be. I am definitely someone who benefited from an arts education. I grew up in a small town in West Texas, and there wasn't a lot of folks that were interested in art and writing. And my parents took me to libraries for fun, and we went to concerts and painting classes, and they let me dabble. And I had this moment in high school where my sophomore English teacher, and we all love our English teachers so much, assigned a project for us to write a term paper basically about a painting. And I just thought it was impossible to write pages and pages about a painting. And I was assigned Starry Night by Van Gogh. And I remember doing the research. It was just this aha moment where I understood that he was, had been studying astronomy and was dealing with mental health issues and was trying to capture nature and symbolism and science on a painting and express it to people who would see it. And I just remember thinking oh, this makes so much sense. And I actually ended up studying art history in undergrad and joined Writers in the Schools. And it was really kind of the first time that a teacher had seen me as someone who could write and create. And when I graduated from undergrad, she actually mailed me a copy of the paper because she had saved it. And there's a little note that said something like, you were an art historian before you knew it. And
wow.
I
think that is an absolutely wonderful, heartwarming story.
And it just goes to show how teachers can infuse arts in so many subject areas. That's what Arts Connect is, doing, and it transformed my career path.
Wow, very powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm getting chills of talking about it.
Yeah.
Was there a moment in your history that arts made an impact on you?
Yes, I have a couple of them, but one in particular, introduction. Growing up during the era of segregation, didn't have the arts education as part of the classwork, and there were limits as to what things we could visit and see. But someone arranged a special field trip for Black students where I was first introduced to the professional arts, theater, opera, symphony, ballet. And that outing has stuck with me, or has stuck with me into my adulthood. As an adult, I made sure that I was exposed to the art as well as my daughter. And I've been a supporter of arts education for students currently that were like me back in that day. My second that spurred my volunteerism in the art was being a volunteer with another organization, taking a student to a performance at the Ensemble Theater here in Houston. I fell in love with that theater many 35 plus years ago. I didn't have any artistic skills or any money, but I was willing to work and be a volunteer, and that was my foray into the arts here in Houston. My daughter literally as a toddler grew up going to the ensemble and other art sports meetings, events, special activities. She is a product of HISD schools, and she is now a writer. And I would owe the arts education and experiences that she had contributing to that. She also participated in various programs during her arts journey that a number of those organizations are Arts Connect partners today. And I am committed to the supporting the Arts Connect and education. I believe it's very powerful in creating well-rounded individuals of students, expanding their horizons. And so that is my, in a nutshell, journey with the arts and bringing me to Arts Connect.
I mean, such a powerful story, and it just shows how important access is. It's not that you or I actually became practicing artists. I mean, your daughter did, and she needs to know about writers in the schools if she doesn't already. But we ended up in non-arts careers, and yet we were totally informed and marked by our arts access and education very early on.
Yeah, and I feel also that what we are doing, or what Arts Connect is doing, is helping not only create artists of tomorrow, but our audiences of tomorrow. And we need to be the protectors and preservers of that. And so I'm glad to be play a small part in helping do that.
Me too. It's an honor to be part of the leadership team at Arts Connect, because and to be in the partnership with you, because as more as we can support this work, more kiddos get to do the things that changed our lives and so many lives across the district.
Agree.
It was so good to be in conversation with you.
Yeah, I'm glad we had this chat and look forward to continue working together to serve Arts Connect and the students of HISD.
Me too. And as soon as it's safe, let's go see a play together.
Yeah, let's do it.
I would love it.
Houston students must have the opportunity for quality, sustained engagement with the arts for this simple reason. Engagement with the arts is an essential human experience. Through the arts, we escape the mundanity of everyday life, and we are challenged by alternative points of view. We are asked to open up and empathize with others. Indeed, we are asked to reflect on the very notion of what it is to be human. When Houston students have access to an arts-rich education, it is to the benefit of the entire community.
The arts are important to our youth because it's a creative way to practice getting your thoughts out eloquently and efficiently. Specifically, I work with the craft, the art form of spoken word, being able to see young people's minds slowly, quickly, or at their own pace start to churn for their thoughts to be valid on paper. On paper, there's nothing, and then when they're done, something is there that they created. And to be in tune with an array of emotions and ideas and opinions that are their own, and to create something out of that, I think is extremely important.
I believe in arts education for the young people in Houston is a vital tool in creating well-rounded and well-prepared learners and leaders. Fine arts instruction helps children with the development of motor skills, language skills, social skills, as well as preparing them for decision-making and risk-taking. Arts education should be integrated into every curriculum in every Houston school.
Arts education is essential for young people in Houston because it fosters creativity and imagination. Moreover, students are able to transfer the skills and knowledge they gain from learning music, dance, art, and theater into their other subjects. The arts also help develop essential life skills, such as working in teams, making decisions based on a set of parameters, leadership, compromise, cultural awareness, and empathy. The arts give Houston students the knowledge and confidence they need to succeed both in school and in other areas of their lives.
Creating spaces of belonging in the arts is vital. Incorporating heritage in a fun and playful way is also key to tapping into children's curiosity in a way that allows them to freely and fully express as they discover the genius that's already in all of them. With this discovery, art invites our children to beautifully take up space in the bigger picture, and we get to see this beauty manifest in all areas of life. A wise man once said, "Art is not what you see, but what you make others see."
Art is the means through which we know each other and ourselves. Making art illuminates. It provides a space for reflection. It helps process trauma and lifts hearts into laughter. It is where abstractions can be explored and creativity practiced. Art makes visible what is hidden in the human spirit that must find the light, and children need this process to find their best selves. Arts education is a way to set a child on the path to love learning and can be their North Star that sets their life on a course full of clarity, self-worth, and enthusiasm.
Over the past 4 years, we have come a long way together as a community. The creation of the Fine Arts Department within Houston ISD in 2017 marked the beginning of a new era in arts education within our district. We stand in support of our great fine arts teachers who guide and lead our children creatively day in and day out. At the time the Fine Arts Department was created, there were 592 certified fine arts teachers in the district serving 213,000 students. That's a student to fine arts teacher ratio of 361 to 1. There were 46 campuses at that time without any fine arts instruction, and an additional 13 campuses without access to a single certified fine arts teacher. That was over 20% of campuses without access of challenges from hurricanes, the pandemic, frozen pipes, water main bursts. Our student to fine arts teacher ratio now stands at 291 to 1, an improvement of 70 students district-wide. The Fine Arts Department now supports 675 certified fine arts teachers. That's nearly a 13% increase during this period. We've eliminated 30 elementary fine arts deserts, those schools where our youngest, most impressionable students previously had no access to the arts. And 36% of our students are now in campuses with 4 or more fine arts teachers, ensuring that they have access to a spectrum of the arts throughout their education. But our work is not done. Nearly 70,000 students throughout the district are on campuses with either 0 to 1 fine arts teacher. That includes 11% of our students that still do not have access to any arts. Unsurprisingly, the disparity falls along lines of socioeconomic status and race. There is a 3.4 difference in access to fine arts instruction between students based solely on socioeconomic status when we focus in on our neighborhood and magnet schools. Plus, those disparities are incurred primarily by our Hispanic and Black students, who are more likely to find themselves on a campus with one fewer fine arts teacher than a white student in the district. As we continue to make progress, we are creating better tools to understand what is going on in the arts throughout this district. These tools will help guide our work moving forward towards our goal of ensuring all students have equity of access to an education rich in the arts.
Arts education provides students with opportunities to grow and express themselves. The arts connect students with each other and with new ideas, fueling continual learning. Arts education is key in developing well-rounded students. Students who participate in the arts become drivers of the marketplace of ideas. Equitable access to the arts is critical to strengthen community by building confidence and empathy in students. The arts celebrate life and nourish our spirits.
Art is play. Art is investigation. Art is exploration. Art is problem solving. Students who have rich arts experiences as part of their education are able to make connections both with themselves and connections with the world around them. And these students grow up with the confidence to continue to use their imaginations to problem solve big picture ideas and to make the world a truly better place.
We at Mercury Chamber Orchestra believe that the power of music and an education well-rounded in the arts can be transformative in the life of a child. Engagement in the arts teaches perseverance, builds teamwork skills, and grants us the opportunity to fulfill one of our greatest capabilities as humans, creative self-expression. Whether it be through movement, poetry or prose, the strokes of a brush, acting in a play, singing or playing an instrument, children can find their voice through the arts.
My heart is that every child has the opportunity to express themselves. Our job as artists and educators is to help kids explore and embrace their own identity and to find their own artistic voice. Not only is art education fun, but it can be used as an effective way to connect, to communicate, and to build the confidence of a child.
In WinSync, all 5 of our musicians started our instruments in our public school band programs. So we really are living proof of the power of arts education. For any given student we reach through this activity, this could be their thing. It could be the lens through which they see the world or their vehicle for growth and development as a person. And so we take our role as teaching artists quite seriously. If we go to a school, yes, we're teachers, but we're also collaborators, and there's an exchange, there's give and take. And if we invite students to perform with us on a stage, we want them to know they are valued there, they are welcome downtown on that stage, and we hope that that gives them a real sense of accomplishment.
Research studies show that children who are exposed to and participate in arts programming benefit academically as they perform better in math, reading, and writing. Their behavior improves and their school attendance remains high. The city of Houston is no exception. As I observe students who are engaged in the arts, I observe more confident students, more engaged students, and overall more productive students. When students gain confidence about their personhood and are encouraged and supported in exploring their unique creativity, they thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. And this is what we're all rooting for: strong students with strong minds and strong deportment.
Research shows that a student receiving an arts-rich education is 5 times less likely to drop out of school than their peers.
¿Sabías que un estudiante que recibe una educación en artes es menos proclive de dejar sus estudios que el resto de sus compañeros?
Multilingual arts residencies create environments that welcome all students to explore their creativity.
Las residencias multilingües generan un ambiente que invita a todo estudiante a explorar su creatividad.
The arts provoke questioning, exploring, and understanding problems, helping students make sense of the world around them and the complex social issues of today.
Las artes incitan a investigar, explorar y comprender problemas, ayudando al estudiante a descifrar el mundo y a la compleja problemática social de hoy en día.
Hello, my name is Ruth Lopez Turley, and I'm a professor of sociology at Rice University. I'm also the director of the Houston Education Research Consortium, or HERC, which you'll hear about momentarily. But first, I want to introduce the concept of equity. Equity in education means giving students what they need in order to thrive. Equity acknowledges that some students have greater needs than others, and that we as a society have a responsibility to meet those needs. Unfortunately, we have not done a good job of pursuing educational equity. In fact, we've done the opposite. Instead of giving more to those who need more, we tend to give more to those who have more. Students in higher income families get more educational resources, both at home and at school. And the difference between those at the top of the income distribution and those at the bottom has increased dramatically over time, resulting in very different educational experiences. One dominant pattern that contributes to these differences is that Black and Hispanic students are much more likely to attend a high poverty school. That's a school in which 75% or more of the students are poor. Black and Hispanic students are 5 times more likely to attend a high poverty school than white students. 5 times. This is true both nationwide and locally. And everything is harder at high poverty schools. Please don't misunderstand me. There are incredible educators and brilliant students at high poverty schools, but everything is harder there. It's harder to recruit and retain effective teachers and administrators. English learners take longer to become proficient. It costs more to educate a poor student at a high poverty school relative to a poor student at a lower poverty school. It's harder to raise funds, and it's harder to offer advanced courses and the arts. The Houston Education Research Consortium is a research practice partnership between Rice University and 11 Houston area school districts, representing over 700,000 students. HERC aims to improve the connection between education research and decision-making for the purpose of improving educational equity. We understand that research will not really have an impact on students unless we work to connect it directly with educators and decision makers who can put that research to use. We also understand that improving educational equity requires extensive cross-sector collaboration informed by research. One of HERC's most exciting projects with HISD is the Equity Project. HISD invited us to take a look at educational equity district-wide to make sure that all students are getting the resources they need, including Black and Hispanic students, poor students, English learners, and so on. Do they have access, equitable access, to the district's financial resources? That is one of the questions that we are asking in this project. Do these students have equitable access to human capital, to student supports, to technology, and of course, academic and extracurricular programming such as the arts? we're working with HISD not only to document inequities, but most importantly, to identify ways in which educational equity can be improved. But of course, educational equity cannot be achieved by schools or school districts alone. We all must support their efforts, which is why I appreciate Arts Connect and their efforts to ensure equitable access to the arts. Now you'll hear more about what we're learning through research and why arts education is so important.
Hello, my name is Dan Bowen, and I'm an assistant professor of education administration and human resource development at Texas A&M University. I'm also the co-director of a brand new National Endowment for the Arts sponsored research lab named the Arts, Humanities, and Civic Engagement Lab. Dr. Turley has provided an excellent introduction to the concept of equity in education, and I will now provide an overview of the state of arts education in schools today, as well as implications of inequities in terms of how the arts can benefit students. In this graph, we can see teachers' reports of declines in instructional time and resources for students in state-tested grade levels, and that while many untested subject areas, such as foreign language, social studies, and physical education, have experienced substantial declines, the arts have by far been affected the worst. Student survey data also backs up what teachers have expressed concerning the decline of the arts. As we can see in this graph on the left, arts education was actually steadily increasing throughout most of the 20th century, but started to sharply decline towards the end of the century, as well as through the turn of the century. However, the extent of the cuts in these educational opportunities has been very different for different school communities and the students who they serve. As you look at the graph on the right, which zooms in on this period of decline, we can see that white students' arts educational opportunities have virtually been unaffected over this time, but declines in arts learning opportunities for African American and Hispanic students have been drastic. Therefore, it's easy to see how the provision of arts learning opportunities have been and continue to be remarkably inequitable in this period of decline. The question then that I and many education researchers often raise is, what are the educational impacts of arts education? In other words, when students lack these arts educational opportunities, what are the opportunity costs in terms of the benefits they would be gaining from these learning experiences? While many of us might consider the loss of arts educational opportunities to be tragic because of the incredible intrinsic benefits that the arts have provided in our lives, policymakers and other stakeholders may question whether there are policy-relevant extrinsic benefits to these opportunities. A big reason why policymakers and stakeholders might be skeptical of these benefits is that they might view the arts as being frivolous. In other words, they might just view that they're fun, but that they don't provide much benefit for students beyond that. This supposition, however, is likely attributable to the fact that researchers have only recently begun conducting rigorous investigations that assess the educational effects of arts learning. The first ever study to meet the U.S. Department of Education standards for what constitutes rigorous research was just published in 2014. This pales in comparison to the hundreds of such studies in math, reading, and science learning outcomes. In other words, the lack of recognition regarding arts educational impacts is likely more so attributable to a lack of research to date, as opposed to an actual lack of impacts. But when we look at the rigorous studies that have been conducted to date, we find evidence that the arts have impacts on a remarkable array of meaningful educational outcomes. The rigorous studies that have been conducted to date show that the arts are critical to the cultivation and enrichment of students' engagement with schools. Students, especially those who are prone to being disengaged with their schools, experience connections that foster and facilitate connections with their school communities because of arts learning opportunities. Similarly, the arts have been found to improve schools' social capital as reflected in positive effects with parent-school engagement. The arts also enhance students' abilities to think critically and improve their achievement in writing as measured by the STAR exam. And finally, last but not least, the arts have been found to have remarkable impacts on students' social and emotional learning and development, assessed in terms of discipline, empathy, and tolerance for others. When we look at the impacts of arts learning by student subgroups, we find effects that are substantially greater in magnitude, in many cases 2 to 3 times that of which we find with the general student population. These findings further suggest that when schools provide these opportunities, they're compensating for learning experiences that would not be otherwise taking place outside of school for our historically marginalized student populations. It's also worth noting that many of these arts educational effects, especially with regard to students who receive the greatest benefits, are paramount to more effectively serving our students as we address the educational setbacks that they have incurred from this pandemic, as well as enhancing our efforts as educators to better prepare our students for effectively engaging and functioning in our multicultural, pluralistic, democratic society. I believe that what we have uncovered to date with regard to arts educational benefits is just the tip of the iceberg. This is why I am excited to be partnering with Arts Connect and HERC to more precisely identify and address arts educational inequities to ensure a rich, holistic education for all Houston students. Through these multi-sector research practitioner partnership efforts, not only will we be able to measure and assess the effectiveness of our efforts to better serve the students in our community, but through rigorous research, we will also be providing evidence to further understand the educational benefits of arts education that I believe will ultimately help make the case to preserve and restore the arts for students both in our immediate community and beyond.
The arts unlock creativity. They open the mind to all the wonders of our world and cultures that students may have never experienced. We are thrilled to be a fine arts department where we unlock the mind.
The arts unlock knowledge, connection, and understanding.
The arts unlock human potential. They unlock a sense of belonging for everybody where we most need it.
The arts literally unlocks any barriers to a person's creativity or the use of their imagination.
The arts unlock creativity, encourage higher level thinking, drive equity, and most importantly, prepare students for college and career.
The arts unlock imagination, curiosity, wonder, and opportunity.
I'm a product designer and entrepreneur, and the arts unlock creativity, imagination, and what's possible. And as a designer, the foundation of the arts, the critical skills that I've learned, have given me the craft and the ability to design transformative experiences for my projects.
The arts unlock, well, everything. Student success, creative thinking and problem solving, family and community connection, self-confidence, and emotional and spiritual well-being.
The arts unlock emotions, emotions that are hemmed up inside, waiting to get out. Like them birds, the arts unlock emotions.
Arts unlocks hope for students of color. It allows them the opportunity to be creative and to use their imagination. It also gives them the opportunity to unleash frustrations. That's what the arts unlocks.
The arts unlock the door for all students to come together. Besides creativity and discipline, the arts unlock student leadership and student ownership.
The arts unlocks possibility, exploration, and opportunity for young people.
The possibility to do and be more than you can ever imagine and to create new opportunities for themselves.
The time and space to explore creative ideas and new thinking.
To create change and create a world that is representative of themselves.
Thanks to all of these incredible leaders for their invaluable partnership and for sharing the endless ways in which an education rich in the arts unlocks creativity, deepens learning, and supports the whole child. All this to ensure students reach their fullest potential today and tomorrow. My name is Caroline Gazer, and I'm Chair of Learning and Interpretation at the Museum of Fine Arts Houston. I've served in various capacities with Arts Connect since 2018. I'm the immediate past chair of the Leadership Committee, and I now serve on the Arts Connect board. The work of Arts Connect to ensure equitable access to arts education can only be made possible through visionary leadership from many partners. And so we are very pleased to announce the inaugural annual Arts Connect Champion Awards. This honor recognizes leaders that have worked tirelessly in uniting the arts and education, as well as making equity a centerpiece of their practice. Today, we celebrate the work of two notable heroes in our community with Arts Connect's first Champion Awards. This year, Arts Connect is honored to present the 2021 Arts Connect Champion in Education Award to educator, Dr. Granita Lathan, Houston Independent School District's interim superintendent. Dr. Lathan has served in critical leadership positions in school districts across the country, including San Diego, Peoria, and currently Houston ISD since 2015. Throughout her tenure, she has been a staunch advocate of equity and access to arts education, using her varied platforms to make systems-level change. In 2017, she helped establish HISD's first fine arts department after more than 30 years without a dedicated department for fine arts in Texas's largest school district. Most recently, in 2019, Dr. Lathan made the arts an integral part of her strategic priorities, ensuring the hiring of fine arts teachers for the remaining 37 arts deserts in elementary schools. We honor Dr. Lathan with the first Arts Connect Champion in Education Award today because of her unwavering commitment to teaching the whole child. As her tenure at HISD ends this June, we want to recognize the visionary example her leadership has modeled in closing the arts education equity gap.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Congratulations and thank you, Dr. Lathan.
Thank you. I am just honored to receive this award. The work that I do on behalf of the children in Houston is the right work. It's not about receiving any type of recognition, but the arts, of course, I think you all know, I love the arts, and I feel that the arts play a very important role in educating the whole child. So I thank you all again for this honor.
Well, thanks to you again, and it's an honor to have you here with us today. I wonder if you could tell us when you first became aware of the importance of the arts in your life and how they've had an impact on you.
And actually, it was early on in church, actually, Sunday school, preparing for Easter plays, Christmas plays, Thanksgiving plays, because my church members, my church Sunday school teachers, my choir director, they were all teachers in the local school district. And so that love of teaching, they actually brought into the church. And you wanted to be in their classes at elementary school, middle school, and high school. And so that's when I fell in love with the arts.
That's fantastic. Well, maybe partly as a result, you have made it part of your mission to create equitable access to arts education for students at HISD. So how have you gone about that? And how has your partnership with us at Arts Connect help you in your efforts to reach this mission?
Well, number one, the data, utilizing the data to make decisions. And when I became aware, and really it was in 2015 when I first arrived in the district, and we were trying to work on it, kind of in an isolated area. And then when I received the blessing of being tapped as the chief academic officer and meeting with the Arts Connect group, it was astonishing to know that our children did not have access to certified art teachers. You all have closed the gap with all the various partners that are providing supports in our school district, but it was so important. We had one person at that time over the fine arts department. So that's not a department, that's an individual. And so that was a goal to build it in the 2017 budget and beyond to ensure that we had a department, and we still need to expand the department, but then also that our students are able to receive services as early as pre-K.
Well, that's fantastic. You've done so much. But this year, I think we all have to agree, has been a very challenging year for all of us, with a raging pandemic and also the ongoing racial reckoning that's really long overdue. Within this context, what are your dreams for the future of the arts in K through 12 education?
My dreams for the future is, of course, like I said, that students will have access to the arts as early as pre-K. So that's 3 and 4 year old students in our school district. And that from pre-kindergarten all the way up to when they graduate high school, that on a yearly basis, students will have access to more than just one fine arts opportunity, that they will have access during the school day to 2 to 3 opportunities, and then beyond the school day for enrichment opportunities. And that's my hope, whether I'm here in Houston or in my new location.
Well, we wish you all the luck in your new location, but we thank you so much for spending time with us today, Dr. Lathan, and thank you for your dedication and your service to the students of Houston.
Thank you. Thank you again for the honor.
Arts Connect is also honored to present the first 2021 Arts Connect Champion in the Arts Award to artist and educator Lauren Anderson, ballerina with Houston Ballet from 1983 to 2006, and currently the Associate Director for Education and Community Engagement at the Houston Ballet. Lauren Anderson's groundbreaking journey perfectly embodies the impact of a rich arts education. An HISD alumna and the daughter of educators, Lauren is recognized as one of the most important artists of our time. During her tenure with the Houston Ballet, Lauren performed leading roles in all the great classical ballets, appearing across the world to critical acclaim, and in the process becoming one of Houston Ballet's most beloved stars. In 1990, Lauren became the first African-American ballerina to be promoted to principal dancer at Houston Ballet. She is also one of the few African-American ballerinas at the head of a major ballet company anywhere in the world. In 2007, Lauren assumed her new role in Houston Ballet's Education and Community Engagement program, where she conducts masterclasses at area schools and gives lectures to students on dance and her historic career. In 2016, the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture awarded her with a permanent exhibit. It is because of her incredible dedication, passion, and artistry that we celebrate and honor Lauren Anderson with the Arts Connect Champion in the Arts Award. Congratulations and thank you, Lauren.
You know, I'm honored. Thank you for having me and thank you for this amazing award.
Well, it's such a pleasure to have you here with us today. I know that you grew up in an education and arts-rich household, and I'm wondering if you could share, how have the arts made a personal impact in your life?
Well, I'd have to say the arts has infiltrated my life since I can remember. I mean, if it weren't for the very first production that my mom took me to see, and I can't even say that was the first production. The first production I remember going to Jones Hall, walking into that, you know, it was huge and big and glamorous and red. And I saw a performance, and from that performance, I discovered that I wanted to dance. And then from going to ballet classes at Houston Ballet, I discovered that I actually wanted to be a ballerina. And then, and then it just goes on. And then it goes on to taking classes and becoming a dancer. And then after that, retiring and becoming a dance educator.
What an incredible path it has been. I'm really interested in what your experience has been teaching in the schools this year. And what do you think your impact has been on the students?
Well, this has been a hard year, right? I mean, kids, teachers are struggling with how do I teach in this virtual world? How do I keep my students engaged? And movement is a huge part of engagement in person, but you think, how do we do this on the screen? So this year has been different. We've been doing many more teacher workshops of movement and arts integration. We do them anyway, but we've been doing more. How do we keep students engaged in a video world? But I've had the opportunity to go on campus now. And the kids are starving for movement, starving for anything that's not the screen, in-person contact. I'd have to say they are more focused in dance class than ever before. And I think that's because they're so tuned into what we're doing and the engagement between the teacher and the student. So I think the arts is really important for this year. Kids have been sitting behind a computer for a year. They have the rest of their lives to do that, right? We're trying to teach the entire child. And as a movement and educator, it's important, especially that we connect the dots in that way.
Yeah, you talked about how they'll be sitting behind a computer during their career. How is dance important, not just for becoming a professional, but also, for a full life?
Well, I mean, there's not just dance, but specifically dance. I mean, there's I think the arts in general create an outlet, right? An outlet for feelings and ideas and creativity. But more than that, there's just 21st century skills embedded in the arts, discipline and self-motivation. I mean, we could go on. The social and emotional learning skills that are embedded in the arts is amazing. And also it's important for students. That's another reason why it's important to have arts in schools, not just in, an introduction. I'm talking, put it on the kid, right? Every child should be face to face with an arts educator, with an arts teacher on every level, from elementary to high school. It needs to happen. It needs to happen. It's so important, especially because it makes our community better.
That's fantastic. Well, you've already alluded to how challenging this year has been for all of us, not only the raging pandemic, but also the ongoing racial reckoning that is long overdue. So within this context, I'm wondering, what are your dreams for the future of the arts in K through 12 education?
Well, I have to say, in this social climate, it's been interesting to talk to kids, right? All of a sudden, okay, so children have challenges at home already, whatever those are. Some of them don't even get to be a child at home, right? Now, some of them have been thrown in this space of advocacy, of being an advocate for racial relations, equality, whatever. And that's a lot to ask a child to take on. A theater teacher said it beautifully, eloquently. The arts for my students in my neighborhood is survival. She has students that have been thrown into the media because of situations. And that child came to her and said, if I didn't have that theater class, I wouldn't have been able to get up and talk in front of cameras all of a sudden, just because one of my family members was shot, right? I mean, that's heavy to think kids are dealing with that. So, like I said, my hope is that every child gets to go face to face with an arts teacher. My hope is that every school has the arts from K through 12. And my dream is that when budgets get cut, because they will, and it will happen, that the first thought is not, let's cut it from the arts.
Fantastic. You are such an inspiration, Lauren. Thank you for your artistry and for your phenomenal work with students in Houston.
Thank you. It's a blessing. I get to work with students, right? It's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Arts education designs exercises for the mind. Art is a universal language. It's a unifier. Through the Community Artists Collective, community is connected. Our programs are culturally based, inspired. At our best, they are intergenerational, provide experiences for all who participate and are engaged. We value the creative impulse that exists in all, cherishing and valuing the creative process for everyone.
At Open Dance Project, we view our students as collaborators, as partners in the making of art. This year, more than ever, we have realized the absolute importance of coming together as an ensemble with our students to build, to grow, to develop new ideas, to practice resilience, and to understand our self-worth and our worth together as a collaborative community. We are so proud of the art we make with our students, and we look forward to doing it for years to come.
Arts education allows students from all backgrounds and cultures to find their own creative voice by incorporating a wide array of learning modalities to ensure that each unique learning environment is well suited to individual students. The arts can become a powerful tool in the quest for social, intellectual, and emotional growth. We believe that the arts serve to illuminate important and parallel aspects of other fields, such as those within the STEM ecosystem, but also in its own right as an independent and standalone field. This dual focus allows students the freedom to explore the creative space necessary for the growth of a well-rounded student on the path to realizing their full potential.
The arts are extremely important, and they should not be treated as a throwaway topic or subject for the youth. They are extremely important to the youth in Houston because they help to build confidence, they help them with leadership skills, they help them just really open up as individuals. And it is extremely important to me and so many of us other artists in the area that the arts continue to be a part of these children's lives, because we truly get to see them blossom into people that they may not have blossomed into had they not been introduced to the arts.
At Houston Ballet, we believe in the power of the arts to transform lives. The arts promote student engagement, and students who are engaged attend school more often and think more critically and creatively. In our programming at Houston ISD schools, we are privileged to work with students who want to move, explore, and create. We've watched students get stronger and more flexible, work creatively with their peers, and develop social, emotional skills that transfer into the rest of their lives. And sometimes, access to arts education helps a student find their passion and purpose in life and creates dreams they then work tirelessly to achieve.
I believe in arts education for the young people of Houston because it means, in one word, opportunity. Arts education gives young people the opportunity to believe, the opportunity to express themselves, the opportunity to change their world and the world around them. Arts education can give young people the opportunity to be the first in their family to go to college, the first to open a business, the First Lady of the United States, the first African American principal ballerina for a major ballet company. Arts education gives opportunities to be creative, innovative, integrative with technology, medicine, business, law, and so much more. Arts education is power.
Thank you for joining us today for the first State of the Arts in Education. It is our hope that you were inspired by all the stories, research, conversations, and you are now energized by the possibilities that lie ahead. As we heard today, the arts unlock hope, creativity, emotions, drive equity, and so much more. To quote Lauren Anderson, let us put the arts on the kids. Our work and progress will only be possible with your active participation. So we are calling on you today to be an engaged partner in the arts opportunity for every student with your voice, your advocacy, and your support. Arts Connect serves as our community engine and accelerator, but time is of the essence. Equitable access to an arts-rich education is our collective responsibility, and our students are depending on us as they prepare for success in college, career, and life.